Okay, good afternoon to everyone. So we are discussing about the concept of operational amplifier as multi-vibrator, application of operational amplifier as multi-vibrator. So in previous class we started this discussion, operation as multi-vibrator. There is various applications of operation as multi-vibrator. In this discussion, in our discussion, we discussed about a stable multi-vibrator in yesterday's class. Okay, so what is the main application of multi-vibrator means? So we can use any type of linear integrator circuit, that means like BJTs, okay, FETs, JFETs, okay, and operational amplifiers in the application of a multi-vibrator. So in our this application we are using operational amplifier, the linear integrated circuit, IC5747. Okay, so in the last class we explained the stable multi-vibrator as an operational amplifier. Okay, a stable multi-vibrator using operational amplifier. So we just discussed about the circuit configuration and we analyzed the waveforms and we explained the waveform analysis. Okay, so we just explained the stable multi-vibrator with the help of a schemic trigger. Okay, so if you see this particular circuit, this circuit is quite similar to the schemic trigger application. In most probably it is an inverting schemic trigger. Okay, the main difference between this inverting schemic trigger, so if we see the inverting schemic trigger, this is our inverting schemic trigger circuit. This is the circuit diagram of inverting schemic trigger. The inverting schemic trigger where input supply is connected to the inverting terminal of the operational amplifier and a positive feedback is connected to the non-inverting terminal and output is observed here at this condition. Output is observed at V0. Output is observed at V0 and this is the input voltage and this is the feedback, positive feedback which is connected. So here we have an external input supply. So but in the concept of a stable multivibrator we don't use any input supply. Okay, we don't use any external input supply. The input supply, see here in this a stable multivibrator configuration circuit, we don't use any external supply. The input supply is observed from the output terminal of the operational amplifier through a negative feedback resistance RF, and next that is forwarded to capacitor. That means here the circuit is operated depending upon the charging and discharging of the capacitor with respect to the feedback resistance capital R suffix F. Okay, so that is what we analyzed with respect to circuit configuration, and next we explained about the waveforms or the behavior of waveform analysis in this particular circuit. Okay, so the waveforms, how we analyze the waveforms means the waveforms, output voltage waveform with respect to capacitor charge and discharge. Okay, initially the capacitor is having certain charge or certain voltage of plus Vsat is observed across the capacitor. Okay, at that condition the capacitor is charged from 0 volts and it is just a might bit come in contact with respect to upper threshold voltage, and if the capacitor charge is further increased up to a particular millivolts greater than upper threshold value, what will happen means the output voltage will drop with respect to minus Vsat condition. That means if the capacitor voltage V suffix C is slightly increased greater than upper threshold voltage, then the output voltage is dropped from plus Vsat condition to minus V saturation condition. Okay, so after this condition of dropping the output voltage from plus V saturation to minus V saturation, what will happen? The capacitor will starts discharging from upper threshold value. It's see the capacitor is discharging from upper threshold value to a lower threshold value. Okay, if it further discharges after meeting the lower threshold value or later that instant, okay, what will happen? The consistent building of V saturation minus negative V saturation came here, and after the capacitor discharge, if the capacitor discharged beyond lower threshold voltage up to greater than millivolts, what will happen? The minus Vsat increases towards plus V saturation condition. Okay, so at this condition of changing or swinging the output voltage from minus V saturation condition to minus V saturation condition to positive V saturation condition, again the capacitor will starts charging. That means in this particular, so when the input voltage is when the capacitor voltage is slightly greater than, if the capacitor voltage exceeds a slight greater than the upper threshold voltage, the my positive saturation will drop to negative saturation. Okay, during the capacitor discharge condition, if the capacitor discharge is slight greater than lower threshold voltage, okay, what will happen? The output voltage will start increasing from minus V saturation condition to plus V saturation condition. That means here in the application of a stable multivibrator, as an operational amplifier as an stable multivibrator, the output voltage starts swinging. See, there is a swing in the sense oscillation. There is a swing with respect to the output voltage with the behavior of capacitor charging and discharging. There is a swing or oscillation with respect to the output voltage of the stable multivibrator. The swing oscillates from positive V saturation to negative V saturation, again positive V saturation to negative V saturation. This is nothing but this is called as a periodic swing. Periodic swing. How does this periodic swing happens? Means this periodic swing is happening when the capacitor is charging and later the capacitor is discharging with respect to our two reference voltages, upper threshold voltage and lower threshold voltage, which are provided with respect to the feedback resistances R1 and R2. Okay, so entire the circuit is quite similar to our schemic trigger. Okay, here also we are having a positive feedback, but the main instant of discussion is there is no input voltage here. Okay, in the presence of input voltage, the input voltage is observed from the output voltage of the operational amplifier through the resistance and capacitance through series RC circuit. Okay, so that's how we analyzed the periodic voltage swing, periodic output voltage swing of the stable multivibrator. And next we analyzed with respect to the behavior of time period. Okay, so how to analyze the behavior of time period means the behavior of time period is analyzed with respect to the capacitor charging and discharging. Okay, if we know the capacitor charging time, so the same amount of time is required to capacitor discharging. That means if we know the charging time, the same amount of time the capacitor will be discharged. That means at the first instance we calculated T, and with the help of the charging time, and next we calculated with respect to discharge time, the total time period is calculated. Total time period of capacitor charging and total time period of capacitor discharge. Total this peak time. See, this peak time is calculated in the discussion of time period calculation. So with the help of transient response, with the help of the transient response of series RC circuit, okay, capacitor charging voltage at an instant of time, that is equal to Vmax plus V initial minus Vmax into e to the power exponential to the power of minus T by RC. Okay, so here the capacitor voltage is nothing but our instantaneous voltage across the capacitor, and next V initial is nothing but initial voltage, and V maximum is the maximum voltage. Okay, and next what happens means here in the capacitor is charging and discharging with respect to upper threshold voltage and lower threshold voltage. So the lower threshold voltage is nothing but initial voltage. Okay, and plus V sat is the maximum voltage, and upper threshold voltage is the point where the capacitor reaches with respect to maximum point. Okay, so we substituted the values here, and this is our new expression. I substituted the capacitor voltage Vc of t with respect to upper threshold voltage. Maximum voltage is substituted with respect to positive V saturation, and initial voltage where the capacitor is at initial stage, the capacitor is not yet charged, that is represented with respect to VLT. Okay, and the next and next we explained about the saturation. The maximum saturation is about one maximum voltage is about positive saturation, and another negative maximum is around minus V saturation. Okay, exponential value of minus T is nothing but time required to charge the capacitor along RC circuit. Okay, so if we analyze this expression further, okay, and if we analyze the expression further, upper threshold voltage minus saturation voltage, that is equal to lower threshold minus saturation voltage exponential of minus T1 divided by RC. Okay, so to LHS we have taken the saturation voltages and upper threshold voltages, that is equal to exponential of minus T1 divided by RC. Okay, so if we simplify further by applying logarithm on both sides to cancel this particular exponential function, if we apply logarithm on both sides, that logarithm and exponential function will get cancelled, and the value will be minus T1 divided by RC, that is equal to Ln into upper threshold voltage minus V saturation by lower threshold voltage minus V saturation. So if we explain further, okay, in order to eliminate this particular negative sign, we switched the numerator as denominator and denominator as numerator. We reciprocal the numerator and denominator. So total time period where the capacitor charged is T1, that is equal to RC into logarithmic value of lower threshold voltage minus saturation divided by upper threshold voltage minus saturation. Okay, that means we calculated the value of T1. Okay, the time required for T1 is the time required from lower threshold value to upper threshold value when the capacitor is discharged. See, T1 is the time required where the capacitor discharged here. Capacitor discharged from upper threshold voltage to lower threshold voltage. And again, if we calculate another T1, that will be the time required from lower threshold value to upper threshold value where capacitor charged. So that will be our total time period. Total time period is explained with respect to T1, that is T1 plus C. T1 is the time taken to charge the capacitor from lower threshold voltage to upper threshold voltage. Okay, at the same time, that's what we analyzed. At the same time, the capacitor will discharge from higher threshold value to lower threshold value. That is capital T is equal to, it's a sum of T plus T1, that is 2T1. That is equal to 2 into RC into ln of 1 plus beta divided by 1 minus beta. Okay, so from this time period we can calculate frequency, whereas frequency is nothing but it's a ratio of 1 by time period. Okay, so this is what we analyzed with respect to a stable multi-vibrator. A stable multi-vibrator. So a stable multi-vibrator main application is it will oscillate between positive saturation to negative saturation, and it is a square wave generator similar to our Schmitt trigger. But what is the difference between Schmitt trigger and a stable multi-vibrator means, here we have an additional negative feedback, and in a stable multi-vibrator we don't have input supply. The input supply is directly absorbed from the negative feedback. Okay, the input supply is directly absorbed with respect to the negative feedback with the help of RC series circuit. Okay, with the help of RC series circuit. So this is the analysis which we discussed in previous class. So if we go into our today's discussion, we will discuss about monostable multivibrator. Monostable multivibrator in the application of operational amplifier. Okay, we are using an operational amplifier in the application of monostable multivibrator. Okay, so the monostable multivibrator, mono in the sense single. Okay, it is single only, it is stable at only one region. Okay, the circuit is stable at only one state, at only one single operating state. The circuit is stable. Okay, and after reaching its stability, it will move towards quasi-stable condition, and again it will transform from quasi-stable condition to new operating stable condition. So how that going to happen, we will analyze in this concept. Monostable multivibrator is application of operational amplifier. It is also called as a single shot multivibrator. Single shot multivibrator or one shot multivibrator. What is meant by this particular single shot multivibrator or one shot multivibrator means, so this multivibrator is stable depending upon the external trigger circuits applied. Okay, the circuit is similar with respect to a stable multivibrator. Here we have a positive feedback. See, here we have a positive feedback. Here we have positive feedback R1 with respect to R2. Previously we have R2 with respect to R1. Here we have R1 with respect to R2. Okay, the negative feedback resistance is capital R, and charging and discharging capacitance is C. See, here we have external triggering circuit. External triggering circuit. This external triggering circuit will produce this particular negative shot. Okay, see here there is a negative pulse in the waveform. See very carefully, this is very, very important discussion. So this negative shot or this negative peak or one shot, this is called as one shot. With the this is one shot or negative peak, negative pulse. This negative pulse is created with the help of external triggering mechanism. External triggering circuit in the sense, these diodes, two Zener diodes here. This is one, these two Zener diodes and this particular rectifier diode D2, and there is a clamping diode which is connected next to the capacitor, clamping diode which is next connected with respect to the capacitor. So this external circuit helps us in triggering a one shot or negative shot. Okay, and this negative shot is applied to this particular multivibrator circuit, and we will analyze the behavior of output analysis from positive saturation to so this one shot or the negative shot is applied with the help of this particular external triggering mechanism. So how that's going to see, this is nothing but our configuration, circuit configuration. So this is an operational amplifier which is connected with respect to positive feedback, and this positive feedback is triggered with respect to rectifier diode. And next, these two external Zener diodes are connected across with respect to the feedback resistances. Okay, and with respect to our negative feedback resistance is capital R, and this negative feedback resistor will observe the output voltage, and it will give as an input with respect to the inverting terminal, and capacitor will charge and discharge, and the input voltage behavior will depending upon this particular charging discharging capacitor. Okay, and this diode D1 is nothing but clamping diode. Okay, this is about circuit configuration. So how does the circuit operate? Okay, we are saying that monostable multivibrator is an one shot multivibrator. This is stable depending upon this particular external operating circuit. The stability of multivibrator will depend. That means it is an external triggering circuit. We are using here an external circuit to produce a negative short voltage. This external trigger circuit will produce an output pulse with a specific duration of time. See, it has specific duration of time. So the entire multivibrator will produce the pulses depending upon whatever the external trigger is producing. That means which we are feeding our multivibrator with the help of this external triggering circuit. That means the entire multivibrator is operated or analyzed with the help of this external triggering circuit, which we are giving as an input. Okay, so with the behavior of this particular negative shot or negative pulse, the entire output of the monostable multivibrator will depend. That's why it is called as one shot multivibrator. Okay, for this type only once, for this type of multivibrator, monostable multivibrator, only one stable state exists. Only one stable state exists. That means number of stable states in monostable multivibrator is 1. Okay, that's why it is monostable multivibrator. Okay, so the monostable multivibrator is having only one stable operating region. That is why, because after the stable condition, the output is converted into quasi-stable state. That means after the output is swinged from positive saturation to negative saturation, again the output of this particular monostable multivibrator will reach towards a quasi state. What is meant by quasi state? We analyzed in previous class. Quasi state in the sense the temporary stable state. A monostable multivibrator circuit is triggered to this state. That means before running to the normal stable state, monostable multivibrator will operate in this particular quasi stable state. Okay, so when an external trigger is applied, the output changed with respect to the state. State in the sense the behavior of output, the term state. We are using the term state. The term state in the sense the behavior of output voltage, or the output behavior of this particular monostable multivibrator is expressed with the technical term state. Okay, so always the state of multivibrator is changed with the help of the external triggering circuit which we are connected. That means this new state after the output reaching, that is the quasi state, that means after the stability of stable operation, it goes to a quasi stable state. So this state is changing from the state behavior, the output behavior is changing from stable condition to quasi stable condition. The circuit remains at a particular fixed interval of time. That means either it is in the stable behavior or in the quasi stable behavior, the circuit will operate in a particular fixed interval of time. Okay, after certain interval of time, the monostable multivibrator operated in quasi-stable, again it will return back to its original stable state with the help of this particular internal triggering mechanism. The circuit will come into original state with the help of the internal triggering circuit only. Okay, that means with the help of this particular internal triggering circuit, that is Zener diodes and rectifier diode or clamping diode, and this particular rectifier diode of the internal triggering circuit configuration only, the circuit will come back to the normal operating state after experiencing a quasi state. That means this triggering mechanism will generate a triggering signal with the help of charging and discharging in this particular capacitor. Okay, the diodes D1, D2, Zener diode ZD1 and ZD2, this complete diode structure will act like a triggering mechanism. Okay, so these four diodes, with the help of these four diodes, we will produce this particular negative short, or we will produce this particular negative pulse. Okay, how means this diode, okay, if we observe the operation, okay, this diode D1 is connected across this particular clamping diode. Sorry, this diode D1 is connected across with respect to a capacitor. This diode will act as a clamping diode. So this clamping diode will help us to maintain the capacitor with a maximum output voltage, that is around 0.7 volts. That's why VC is equal to V1. Okay, VC is equal to V1. The diode is made up of germanium. The germanium diode operating voltage, maximum operating voltage is 0.7 volts. So when it is forward biased, the operating voltage is 0.7 volts. So 0.7 volts of maximum voltage range and the is applied with respect to the diode, and the negative voltage range is applied with respect to lower threshold voltage or lower threshold voltage. That means here we have seen the ranges of the capacitor in lower threshold voltage and upper threshold voltage. But this particular upper threshold voltage can be limited by connecting a diode parallel with respect to the capacitor. Okay, so this diode is forward biased at 0.7 volts. So the maximum possible voltage of this particular diode is limited to 0.7 volts. Okay, that means after the addition of the additional voltage is applied to the output terminal, after the additional voltage is applied to the output terminal of the capacitor, if the additional voltage is greater than 0.7 volts, the diode will be short circuit. That means here the capacitor charging voltage is mostly limited with respect to 0.7 volts. That means if the additional voltage is if the capacitor is tried to absorb additional voltage greater than 0.7 volts, the diode will be short circuited and this additional quantity will be short circuited through the diode. Okay, so for greater than 0.7 volts, okay, the diode will be for greater than 0.7 volts, the diode with forward biased and the capacitor will get short circuited. At that condition only this capacitor is operated at a particular voltage of 0.7 volts. Okay, so no changing in the current flows through the capacitor. Okay, the positive voltage charging is limited through the diode D1, through this diode, see, through this diode D1. So with the help of these capacitors and this particular GNR diodes ZD1 and ZD2, ZD1 is having an operating voltage of Vz and ZD2 is having operating voltage of Vz2. So that is represented with Vz. Both are operating at same voltage. Okay, with the help of the capacitor and the clamp diode and these GNR diodes, we are triggering a pulse. Okay, we are triggering this pulse, particular negative pulse, and that pulse is applied across VT, across the terminals of VT. Okay, at particular VT, diode D2 is connected in reverse bias condition. Okay, that means why it is connected in reverse bias condition. See very carefully here. This diode D2, which is connected in reverse bias condition, that means this diode only allows negative triggering pulses. Okay, that means for negative triggering pulse, the diode will be in forward bias condition. Okay, for positive magnitudes, the diode will be in reverse biased condition. That means this particular negative short is applied across the terminals of VT of magnitude V2. Okay, the magnitude of this particular trigger is V2. Okay, the negative short is applied across the terminals of VT at a magnitude V2 through the diode V2. The output, the V2 is equal to beta into V0. We know the value of beta is nothing but ratio of this particular potential divider resistance, that is R2 divided by R1 plus R2. Previously we have R2 with respect to R1, but here we have R1 with respect to R2. That's why the beta value will be R2 divided by R1 plus R2. So we will come that across in our time response analysis. If we see the operation of this particular triggering pulses, which are operated in a continuous manner, okay, so with the help of this triggering pulse, we can analyze this particular output voltage. Okay, that means how to analyze the output voltage with the help of triggering pulse means this particular negative short, the triggering pulse which is applied at particular terminals of VT, which is having a magnitude of V2. Okay, the diode with capacitor here, the diode with capacitor will limit the voltage up to 0.7 volts. We know that, and the remaining operation is similar to, and this particular remaining operation is similar to a stable multivibrator operation. That means like at particular V0 is equal to plus V0 is equal to plus V saturation. See here the output voltage V0 is at plus V saturation at initial condition. At that behavior, see the capacitor voltage. The capacitor voltage V suffix C is having 0.7 volts only. Okay, when we apply negative V short at this condition, okay, initially at the initial condition the capacitor is charged at 0.7 volts. Here we have plus V saturation. So at that condition, if we apply negative short, with the help of our triggering mechanism, so this particular negative pulse in our multivibrator circuit will keep on changing, and initially the multivibrator is having plus V saturation at 0.7 volts, which is flowing across D1. Okay, when we reach greater than 0.7 volts, the diode, what will happen? The diode will be short circuited and there will be no charging of voltage which will flow through the capacitor. That means all the current will starts grounding with respect to diode. That means after certain instant of time, when we apply this particular negative short, after certain instant of time capacitor charging, and if we apply a particular negative short pulse to this particular non-inverting terminal operational amplifier, okay, thus, okay, what we are doing, we are applying the negative short to this particular non-inverting terminal of the operational amplifier with the terminal of VT. Okay, what will happen? Before the zeroth instant, the non-inverting terminal is fed with respect to a positive supply. At the state of output is maintained. Okay, so when we apply a negative short pulse at this particular state, the output is started changing. See, after the application of negative short, the output is started changing from minus V saturation to plus V saturation. Sorry, output is changing from plus V saturation to minus V saturation. Okay, what will happen at this time? The capacitor will get discharged with respect to lower threshold voltage. Lower threshold voltage. See, the capacitor will start discharging after the application of negative peak. Output voltage plus Vsat is dropped to minus Vsat. Okay, next what happened? Next output voltage dropped from minus plus Vsat to minus Vsat. Okay, and next the capacitor charged with capacitor charge starts discharging with respect to a lower threshold value. A lower threshold value. Okay, up to a lower threshold value. Up to a lower threshold value of minus beta Vsat. This is the value of minus beta Vsat is nothing but the lower threshold value. That means whenever the capacitor starts discharging, whenever the capacitor is started discharging towards the lower threshold value, okay, the magnitude of the output state is changed from plus V saturation to minus V saturation. That means whenever the capacitor is changing its states from charging to discharging, okay, the behavior of output is changing from plus V saturation to minus V saturation. Okay, so this behavior of plus V saturation changes after the existence of this particular negative short. Okay, until the state of V output is stable. So initially the V output is stable initially at the initial application of V saturation. Okay, so after that capacitor starts discharging and the output voltage reached with respect to minus V saturation. At this condition, how does this condition happen? Capacitor is charging at 0.1 volts and we applied the negative short. Capacitor is started discharging with respect to the lower threshold value, and at that condition the output voltage swinged from positive V saturation to negative V saturation. This particular time period of negative V saturation is called as quasi stable state. Okay, that means, okay, previously at positive Vsat we are at stable behavior, but at minus V saturation the entire multi-vibrator is at quasi stable condition. That means the capacitor is discharged with respect to the lower threshold value and the output is minus V saturation. The entire multi-vibrator is now at quasi stable condition. Okay, the behavior of capacitor discharging is constant with respect to the quasi-stable behavior, and the output is at minus V saturation condition, but previously the capacitor is charging and the output is at plus V saturation condition. So this is all happened before we are applying this particular negative. Before, see the condition before the negative short, the capacitor is charging and the operational amplifier is in stable condition. So in order to maintain or in order to regain the system to the stable condition, we are applying this particular negative short. With the help of our triggering pulse. Okay, the capacitor keep on discharging up to the lower threshold value. Okay, so after the capacitor came in contact with respect to the lower threshold value, this particular lower threshold value, okay, what happened after the capacitor voltage came in contact with respect to lower threshold value, and if the capacitance discharge up to a few amount of millivolts greater than the lower threshold value, okay, at that condition the output voltage will swing from minus V saturation condition to plus V saturation condition, and the capacitor will start charging again, and after in order to reach the operating voltage of positive, in order to reach the operating voltage of 0.7 volts. Okay, that means what's happening is, so in order to bring back the system to its stable condition, what we are doing means we are just oscillating the output voltage from plus V saturation condition to minus V saturation condition, minus V saturation condition to plus V saturation condition. Okay, so just we are applied with respect to a negative pulse or negative shot with the help of our triggering mechanism, and we bring back the system from quasi stable condition to its stable condition. Okay, that is our output voltage analysis. So that is what we described here. That is what we described here in points. Okay, so initially the diode D1 is connected with the capacitor, and the diode is clamping diode, and it is a germanium diode. That's why the diode is operated at 0.7 volts. Okay, so when the diode is charging, we have the behavior of 0.7 volt. We have the behavior of positive V saturation. Okay, after a negative triggering pulse is applied across the non-inverting terminal. Okay, so with respect to non-inverting terminal, what will happen? The diode will start swinging from positive V saturation to minus V saturation. That means it changed from stable condition to quasi-stable condition. Stable condition to quasi-stable condition. So that is what we analyzed here in our theoretical analysis. That is what we analyzed here. So if we calculate the particular time period for this circuit, for this particular circuit of a monostable multivibrator, so V input voltage is nothing but initial voltage, and Vf is nothing but final voltage. So if we explain in a transient expression, that is V output is equal to V final plus the difference of input voltage minus final voltage into exponential of total time of operation in particular RC circuit. Okay, so the input voltage is nothing but diode forward biased voltage. This is nothing but clamping diode voltage. Okay, and Vf is nothing but minus V saturation, where the monostable multivibrator is operated in quasi state, and output voltage is nothing but capacitor charged voltage, that is represented with respect to capital V suffix C. Okay, so if we substitute these particular parameters, if we substitute these particular operating parameters in our expression, okay, capital V suffix C is equal to final voltage is minus Vsat plus initial voltage is nothing but diode charging voltage, that is Vd1, final voltage is minus Vsat. Okay, so if we substitute this, and if we substitute value of small t with respect to total operating time t, what will be the expression? Okay, so Vc will be minus beta Vsat minus Vsat plus Vd1 plus Vsat into exponential of total time with respect to charging and discharging with respect to RC series circuit. So if we take the LHS side with respect to the saturation values, that is V saturation minus beta into Vsat, that is equal to Vd1 plus Vsat into exponential of minus t divided by RC. Okay, if we simplify further and if we take V saturation as a LCM in LHS, that is V saturation into 1 minus beta, that is equal to Vd1 plus Vsat into exponential of e to the power of minus t divided by RC. Okay, so if we take the expression in the point of exponential, okay, exponential on LHS side and entire saturation and diode voltages to LHS side and exponential as RHS side. So exponential with respect to the total time divided by total exponential with respect to time required to charge the charge and discharge across RC circuit, that is equal to V saturation of 1 minus beta divided by Vd1 plus Vsat. Okay, in order to eliminate this particular exponential value, if we apply logarithm on both sides, that is equal to minus t by RC into logarithm is equal to logarithm of V saturation of 1 minus beta divided by Vd1 plus V saturation. Okay, so in order to eliminate this particular negative sign, what we did, we just switched the numerator to denominator, denominator to numerator. We exchanged the numerator as denominator and denominator as a numerator. So the total time period is equal to RC into ln of Vd1 plus Vsat divided by V saturation to 1%. So T, if your what is capital T? Capital T is nothing but capacitor charged at a particular instant of time. Okay, capital T is nothing but where the capacitor is operated the entire multivibrator in quasi-stable condition. So we calculated at what is the behavior of multivibrator, monostable multivibrator, if it is operated in quasi-stable state. Quasi-stable state. Okay. So previously at V saturation condition, it is at stable condition. After the applying of triggering pulse, it will reach to quasi-stable, and again with respect to the operation of triggering pulse, again it is came into stable condition. Okay, so that is the analysis of monostable multivibration with respect to the calculation of time period. So in today's class, we discussed about and we analyzed about the behavior of monostable multivibrator with respect to circuit configuration. Okay, we analyzed the circuit. Okay, and we explained the application of external triggering circuit. Okay, and we analyzed the behavior of output voltage with respect to negative short or one shot mechanism, and we analyzed the behavior of time period. We analyzed and we derived the behavior of time period in quasi-stable condition, in quasi-stable operation of a stable monostable multivibrator. So this is about our quiz analysis of monostable multivibrator. Monostable multivibrator. So with respect to our quiz analysis, see the first question. The first question says about monostable multivibrator has one quasi-stable state and one unknown stable state. Most of the people, you people are opted true, but actual answer is false. Why it is false means the monostable multivibrator is a circuit. Okay, we have two operating states. One is stable operating state and one is quasi stable state. Okay, that means before the triggering circuit operation we have stable state, and after the triggering circuit operation we have quasi stable state. Okay, and the output came back from quasi stable state in a particular short duration. That means here we have a quasi stable state and then stable state, not one quasi stable state and one unknown state. Not quasi-stable state and one unknown state. Most of the people gone wrong, 81%, around 81%. Okay, so coming into the second analysis, second answer analysis. So this is about this discussion. In this discussion, we can see what is the correct answer and what is the reason behind. Okay, so which one of these is not a monostable multivibrator? Okay, so many people are answered, or many people are answered correct. That is a Schmitt trigger as a monostable multivibrator. Okay, so we know that Schmitt trigger is a comparator circuit. Okay, and it is also called as a regenerative comparator because of the positive feedback. Because of the positive feedback. So Schmitt trigger, it's a square wave generator. So it is not a monostable multivibrator, unlike this particular three applications. Okay, emitter coupled monostable multivibrator, we can use an op amp. Okay, that's why the answer is the second answer is true. So coming into the third answer, monostable multivibrator has a stable condition, an unstable condition, and one stable condition, one unstable condition, and independent state. Okay, so the correct answer is B. Correct answer is B. So most of the people answered with respect to C. One is stable and another one is unstable. See here, monostable multivibrator, here one answer is, one condition is stable and other condition is unstable. One condition is stable, another condition is stable. At transient condition, this type of situation happens. But in our discussion, there is no existence of transient condition. What we are doing means, okay, so a triggering pulse is applied with respect to circuit before entering into the unstable condition. That means the circuit is not gone into complete unstable condition. So after entering into the unstable condition, the circuit will return into a stable condition after a particular specific amount of time. Okay, so what is the fourth question? Fourth question is the monostable multivibrator can also be termed as? Okay, so mostly monostable multivibrator can be termed as half stable multivibrator. So in its behavior, it is behave like an half stable multivibrator. Most of the people, 43% of the people chosen this answer, but 38%, 20 students chosen the wrong answer. So why it is a half unstable multivibrator means, Half stable multivibrator means, so here in the behavior of a quasi stable or unstable condition, there is a change with respect to output state, whereas monostable multivibrator, at positive saturation it is stable and negative saturation it is again unstable. That's why the monostable multivibrator is a half stable multivibrator. Okay, it is also called as half square wave generator. Okay, right. So fifth question, it's a normal question. The capacitor discharge in monostable multivibrator is called as recovery time. Okay, we already said in applications of operational amplifier, characteristics, we already said the response time has to be very, very high. Okay, the capacitor discharge at this particular application where the response time is very, very high, that's why it is having a good response time, right? Response time or recovery time. Response time is also called as recovery time, correct? So most of the people, 51% chosen this correct answer. Okay, some people have a misconception, they chosen dynamic time, but the correct answer is recovery time. Okay, so sixth question of node analysis. So the circuit which contains quasi-stable state is, okay, so bistable analysis, so we don't study about quasi-stable condition. Both of the conditions are stable there, but in monostable condition at positive saturation it is stable and at negative saturation it is quasi-stable. At the instant we will study about monostable condition. So most of the students chosen correct answer here. It's sixth question, 58% of the students chosen correct answer here. And seventh question, the circuit which has one stable is termed as monostable. So that this point came at our starting discussion. Starting discussion only we already got this point. Okay, so at the sixth question, many people have chosen the correct answer. So seventh question, so monostable multivibrator is also called as pulse stretcher. Why pulse stretcher means, so in the output voltage at the behavior of quasi-stable, the output time is stretched at minus Vsat. That's why it is called as pulse stretcher. Okay, and this type of multivibrator which generates clock pulses. Which type of multivibrator generate clock pulses? Okay, in eighth question, most of the people gone wrong with pulse generator. Monostable multivibrator is not a pulse generator, it is a pulse stretcher. A stable multivibrator is a square wave pulse generator. Okay, a stable multivibrator is a square wave pulse generator. Monostable multivibrator is a pulse stretcher. Okay, ninth question, most of the people correct chosen correct answer. Okay, and last question. Narrow pulses with the adjustable mark space ratio can be obtained from square wave pulse input, is represented by using monostable multivibrator, right? Most of the people chosen the correct answer, monostable multivibrator. So this is our discussion with respect to the poles, right? Thank you for your session. Thank you.